Hello, Matt.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Cool. I hear you have something to talk about today that I don't know anything about.
What? Okay. Well, I know you know a little bit about it because it's been all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
Fallout 76.
Okay. Fallout. Yeah. All
Okay.
right. Okay.
So I'm not going to make a manifesto in defense of Fallout 76.
Okay.
There's a lot of issues with it, but I do want to
Okay.
go on record as saying I've enjoyed playing the game.
All right. Fair enough.
Yep, there obviously are some issues with it, but I do want to talk about some of the fun stuff.
All right. We can definitely do that.
There. And for better or for worse, I do have to say a lot of the fun stuff is built on the shoulders of the great work that has been done before.
Sure.
Before
the
Bethesda, previous games,
Yeah.
before Bethesda even has property, the universe,
Right.
the whole idea of this kind of alternate future, apocalyptic 1950s thing is
And we know
awesome.
Bethesda can kick it out of the ballpark.
Yep.
Not always, but we know they can. So there's always potential in all of their IPs, and Fallout is one of the greatest ones that they have.
Yep.
So yeah, we can talk about Fallout 76. The only thing I really know about it is that it got some very mixed reviews.
Mm-hmm.
The scores, like if you look at those scores, if you care about those scores, not great. But yeah, I'm interested to hear what you thought was good and what you thought was bad about the game. How does it play?
It does, to me, it does play like a Fallout game properly. The
Okay.
way, the mechanics with the weapons, the way you engage with the world, the less so on the dialogue trees without NPCs. Which
Sure.
we can get into a little
Are
bit
there
more
none of
detail on.
those?
No, it's robots.
Okay,
There's
so you
audio
do
logs.
you do run
There's-
into some NPCs in the game, but it's only online, right? It's completely online.
It is online
Uh-huh.
in the well, not like Grand Theft Auto Online or anything. So
Oh,
you
sure,
have this
yeah.
kind of blank world to explore.
Okay.
But you can see where it seems like they tried to make something bigger, where it would be this massively multiplayer online thing.
Right.
But it's
The
just you
MMO
and a handful of
RPG.
people on a server, and you can
Okay.
interact and you can have a little bit of fun with that.
How does the story work? Is there a story, or do you just kind of muck around and do what you want to do?
Well, like any great Fallout game, you can just muck around
Sure.
and do whatever you want to do.
But I feel like there's got to be things to discover. There's got to be rabbit holes to go down to
Yep.
find secrets, do things. Okay.
There's
All right.
some good some good storylines with finding out a little bit of history of the Brotherhood of Steel.
Oh, okay.
The main one is following around the other people that have left the vault.
Okay.
The
How does that work?
Well, of course, Fallout 76 was a vault that actually worked like it was supposed to.
Oh, I see. This was the success story of
Yeah.
all of the vaults.
Which to
Okay.
me is a little bit sad because we're so used to Vault Tech just being this just utterly destructive,
Right.
dysfunctional, crazy piece of crap.
Yeah.
Which is great. That's part of the Fallout universe.
That's the
where just-
control.
things be
Yeah.
messed up all
Right,
the time.
Right.
But like bringing a little bit more reality into that, where it's like, okay, but yeah, this is a corporation. They're gonna have at least one vault that's gonna go right.
Okay.
Where
One would think.
you take your best, your brightest, and you're actually trying to survive the
if
apocalypse.
you try 50 times or 100 times, you've got to get it right a couple, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And so they you explore a little bit what the history of the vault, and it happens much more close to the apocalypse as well.
I see.
And so you get out, you discover a little bit about the how the raiders started,
Mm-hmm.
and spread across the country.
So there's a little bit of story in there if you go out and search for it.
Yep.
All right.
Which would be better if there were NPCs.
Sure. That's always been a big part of the Fallout games has been exploring, running into these random people, and then seeing it start a dialogue, and you're like, oh, cool. All right, let's see what we can do here. Yeah. And sometimes it is go and find me 6 flowers and come back.
Yeah.
But sometimes it actually leads down a pretty cool storyline.
Yep.
And that's what Bethesda's always been good at in terms of the Fallout 3, Fallout 4 game.
And it's the same but different. You have these audio logs that you discover, or
Okay.
people transferred into brains of robots. But it does the trade-off for that is you have an apocalyptic vibe because it's just nothing but bodies everywhere.
Okay.
And the people that you do interact with are actual people who are alive, that are playing the game with you. Which they were trying to go for, like, I don't know, a PUBG thing or whatnot, where you have this online play that the real people you meet are real people.
Right.
And it was supposed to be this magical thing where you would interact and team up and,
There's enemies out there that you can go fight.
Yeah, ghouls and machines.
So here's a question for you. So one of the things that we all loved in the previous games, one of the things that made them so great was the VAT system.
Yeah.
You can slow down time, and you can target individual parts of the enemy's body, right?
Yep.
So if there's someone standing over there, they see you, I see them, they raise their gun, I can slow down time and I can put my marker like right on their hand.
Yeah.
And try to like knock that gun out of their hand first, right? And then maybe hit them in the head if I've got a gun that the quality of the gun, because it wears down, the quality of the gun is still good enough to maybe get a headshot. I can use some of my points to target maybe the hand to get rid of the gun, or the head or the chest or whatever. How does that work in an online environment where there's other people involved and you can't just randomly slow down time for everybody? How does that work?
I'm just going to say it's completely broken and I don't use it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's unfortunate, because that's a big part.
You can't have the time mechanic with that.
No, you can't, and that's a big part, in my opinion, of what made Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 so good, was that VAT system. And that's unfortunate.
So it exists.
Okay.
But it is just a targeting helper.
Okay, so it doesn't slow down time, but it allows you to focus on a... Okay.
So, like, if you're trying to back up and run away from something...
So you got to do it really fast.
You do need to be,
to
be fast with it.
Okay.
They were going for a realism thing with that.
I see.
Yeah, well,
and
that's what
fine.
they'll say.
That's okay.
The reality is you just can't have a slow time mechanic
you can't.
live on a server.
You can't. It doesn't work.
And... you can't have your cake and eat it too.
No.
You can't just say, "Oh, it's supposed to be realistic," blah 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 blah. You can take the best out of it, yes.
Yeah.
But the reality is, it's just something that was cool that just isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get used.
What's our future looking like for another really solid single-player Fallout game? Are those days behind us, or are we going to get another one eventually?
I'm optimistic.
Is there going to be a Fallout 5?
I'm optimistic that the powers that be, and
Todd Howard,
will learn from their mistakes.
Okay.
Although some of these people have a hard time learning from their mistakes.
Sometimes
feel like that you have this need to push the next big thing. And
right now, that's massive multiplayer online. It's the battle royale. That's what everybody's going for now.
Well, yeah, but you can't forsake what makes you special and unique. Like, you do not want to stagnate and die while everybody moves on to something else.
Right.
But when you clamor for something new and good, you fall off the foundation that you've built.
It's true. It's true. We don't want to lose what makes the game special in the first place. So this reminds me of the Red Dead Redemption, Rockstar. Red Dead Redemption 2. So great storyline. Perfect game. I mean, a very good, beautiful game to play. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But they're pushing for this online thing. They're trying to get they're trying to get a piece of this battle royale pie, if you will. Yeah. All these, hundreds of millions of people playing the BR games, and that's okay. But they're not going to win anybody over with the way they're doing it. Yeah. They've sacrificed what makes a battle royale game great in order to have really good graphics.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you look at the most popular battle royale game, which is Fortnite currently. And its graphics are very, very dumbed down. It's a comic-y style. Anybody playing in competition turns all of their graphics off. They turn all of the shadows off because this is a competitive game. So if you want to be in the BR, then you need to make a game that is extremely fast and extremely playable.
Yes.
You can't have that with the Red Dead Redemption online. The biggest lobby, I think, is 32 players, and it's rough. You know, the graphics are great, but it's slow. Yep. It's slow. It's clunky. You know, you try to run around a rock, and if you hit the wrong button, he will start to climb over the rock. Whoops. In which case, it triggers a 3-second video clip of him climbing over a rock where you lose control of your character. Well,
yeah, not what you want in a battle royale.
You can't have that. Yeah, it makes it look super realistic, like you're watching a video, but you can't have that in a battle royale game. So I'm wondering how Bethesda is is dealing with that in the online arena with Fallout 76. Obviously, it's not a battle royale game, but is that what they're looking to make this? Are they trying to make a Fallout battle royale?
I would say no.
Okay.
Just because of the number of players they have in it.
Okay.
You know, that may have been something that was on the whiteboard while everybody was spitting great ideas around.
Okay, sure.
But it's a good case of everybody compromises and gets nothing.
Yeah, right.
Where like, okay, we can have 8 players on a map.
Right.
You know, they'll interact, and what like I was alluding to before, the interaction element we have to take away with the NPCs will be replaced by
interaction with real people. Yeah.
Which will be even better.
Yeah.
But you're in a huge map, and I'm sorry.
Except that people suck.
Yeah, people suck. And I have seen, I've had good interactions online with Fallout 76.
Yeah.
Where you have some good folks, and I'm like, I save somebody from some ghouls, and I get a high five or whatnot.
Yep.
But it takes time to build up that level of trust with the game,
and a huge community too.
A huge community of non-casuals who are committed to the game.
Well, it can be casual.
It
can be casual, but it needs to be people who aren't just messing around. People who are like actually want to find where this game is amazing. Like go and find the secrets, go and find these stories, even though they're buried kind of deep within, and make their own game for themselves. Maybe.
Well, it's true. But the Fallout 4 lore and even the mood of the game lends itself to a solitary experience.
It does.
Unless you're mining for resources, you want to get together, you gotta drop nukes everywhere, which is another fun part of the game.
Put all your stuff in a storage unit, go out and scavenge 1 million tin cans, go and sell them for 3 cents a piece, and then maybe you can afford that ammo that you so desperately need.
And I'm pretty sure that, whatever player is following me around doesn't want to stand there while I'm selling all of my tin cans. Or like converting things around, which
they definitely don't.
I have to admit, there's moments I like that, where like I got all this stuff. I'm gonna make my settlement. Right. I'm gonna I'm gonna plant corn for the next 20 minutes. And that's not good team play there.
No, back in the Fallout 3 days, I've said it before. One of my top 5 games of all time.
Yep.
I would sit down to a gaming session knowing that the next 3 hours were just going to be me going off, carrying as little as I could, trying not to get too far from my home base, collecting as much junk as I could, and then coming back and selling it for the highest price possible. Yep. And then maybe I could afford a little more ammo or an attachment for my gun, or make it just a little bit better, right?
Yep.
But I knew that going into it, and I enjoyed that. But that is a singular experience.
Yep.
You can't do that online.
No.
You can't go online for 3 hours and scavenge while other people walk around you going, "What are you doing? We're supposed to be going off and fighting these bad guys." Well, so they must have limited that scavenge thing in Fallout 76.
Well, you can just ignore the other people, though.
Oh, that's true.
So, which is why
but then that defeats
I still
the purpose
play
altogether, doesn't it?
Well, no. But my purpose isn't to socialize when I'm playing that game.
Fair enough.
And there's that element there. So, like, I don't know, you play Destiny much?
Yeah.
So you got the social element there.
Yeah,
where
but you can still you can still push forward on your own. That's true.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And I feel like Destiny did that better because of the way the game was designed.
Right.
So it could be more like a couch co-op Halo thing, where you do get somebody random. You're like, oh man, you're really good. And you're like, yeah, man. You're happy to see power players.
Sure.
Because that can help you.
Sure. Destiny also didn't have previous games that they had to live up to.
True. Yeah.
Which Fallout does. Fallout has some very big titles to live up to.
Yeah.
So that also makes it hard when you're bending genres of games.
Yeah. And you gamble and you lose sometimes. And I think that's a big lesson to take away from Fallout 76. It is at its core a playable game. But the expectations were so much higher, and it is just kind of sad to see this vision. Again, it comes back to the folks at Bethesda on the whiteboard.
Right.
They're putting themselves on the line with, I'm this sexy game developer. Like, no, stop. You really need to think about the actions that you're taking. Part of game development, part of being in the gaming community is taking risks and pushing the gauntlet.
Right.
But to me, the greatest thing you could do is to actually admit a mistake and move forward with it.
That's tough.
And not bury your head in the sand.
That's tough.
Bring us a Fallout game, and you want to multi-channel it? Oh, hey, Lord of the Rings of it. Make it like Lord of the Rings. Like, we don't want to make so many movies. That's too big of a risk. Now they can't make enough Lord of the Rings movies.
Right.
Do a multi-channel thing with it.
When you have that kind of a budget, you can do whatever you want. But again, we don't want people to get upset because we want them to keep making good games. So
yeah.
How about, is there anything? Are they doing any monetary things in the game?
Yeah, and I've honestly stopped playing it as much as I did before.
Yeah.
Where you are starting to get some play-to-win mechanics, the cosmetic stuff.
Ouch.
I mean, that was in Fallout 4, even
Ouch.
where you would be paying for stuff that doesn't really. And if people want to pay it, at the storefront, that's
up to them.
That's up to them. But
yeah.
and you may make some money with it, but you are going to lose loyalty with that. And it's not that I want everything for free.
Right. No, I'm not asking anybody to give me anything for free. I'm just saying, give me a game where if I choose to pay, it doesn't give me an advantage.
Yes.
Because that's messed up.
Yeah.
Because there's a ton of gamers out there who don't have the money to spend on this.
No.
They can't pay you $10 for a skin that gives you grenades all the time.
Yeah.
And that's not fair. It's not fair, and it doesn't make any sense. Charge me one time.
Yep.
Let me pay one time for the game and give me the whole game.
Yep.
And if there's anything cosmetic after that you want to sell me, it cannot affect the gameplay in any way. It needs to be completely cosmetic.
Well, no, and to me that I might be overstepping my bounds here a little bit, but with that, it feels like to me like that's actually fostering an environment of where it's okay to cheat.
Yeah.
That when game developers decide to go down that dark road, and say like, we have complete control of the game, we want to make as much money as possible.
Right.
Well, people like to win. Well, let's help them cheat.
Right. Well, what they'll always tell you is, if you just play enough, you'll get the in-game currency. But it's like, well, it would take you 100 hours to get the in-game currency to buy this stuff.
Everything that went down with Battlefront, that too.
Countless games.
Great example of it getting messed up.
And you have those games where they put out a DLC, and these are massive multiplayer online games where they put out a DLC. And if I can afford it and I buy it, and you can't afford it and you don't buy it, we can no longer play online together because we don't have the same DLC. We don't have the same version of the game.
Yep.
So the server is just like, oh no, Matt can't join your party because he doesn't have this DLC. He's got to cough up $25 for it.
Yep.
And it's like, whoa.
No.
Holy cow, this is not the way gaming should be.
No.
Not at all. No. So, I don't know. Hopefully they'll learn from those mistakes.
I hope so too.
What else you got for us?
Not much.
Yeah, is that it?
No. I think that's enough for now.
All right, Fallout 76. You can buy it if you want. Matt says it's worth playing.
Yeah.
I've never played it, so there you go. Thanks for listening. Talk to you again next time.
Bye.